Story 1. Revenge is a dish best served stinky. I have a neighbor who let their dog crap in my yard. She just let it outside without a leash to go poop whenever its heart desired, then yell for him to come inside. Never once picked up a turd. I confronted her multiple times, and she was insistent that it wasn't her dog. Like, I live on a corner lot, with a dirt alley behind me. You're my only neighbor. The last time I knocked on her door she threatened to mace me. So I went out very early that morning, while it was still dark out, and took a Mr. bottle of water. I misted her windshield, then took handfuls of dust and sprinkled it over it. Then I used a newspaper from her porch to pick up some dog turds and line them across her windshield wipers. With her windshield so dusty, she couldn't see the surprise I'd left her. Then I waited. She came out to get in her car and turned on the windshield washers. The wipers made an absolute mess on her windshield. Dog crap smeared everywhere. The washer fluid made it worse. Then the smell hit her. She jumped out of the car and puked all over her driveway. She spent some time kneeled down in the driveway heaving her guts out, then came out with some cleaner and began desperate trying to clean the greasy mess, retching the whole time. The kicker? I took the newspaper that I had used to retrieve the turds, rolled it up and put it back in the sleeve. Put it on her porch. Later that day she came home from work, picked up the paper, and carried it inside. Few minutes later, I hear more puking noises from my porch. She walks her dog with a leash now. I wish I could say she picks up after him, but she doesn't. Just avoids my yard like the plague. Can't win them all, I guess. TLDR lady let her dog poop in my yard. Return to sender in glorious fashion. Amiluli says, you went hard op and I am kinda here for it. No presentation 6525 says, love that you wrapped her paper back up and she was hit with a second wave of that smell. Hope she had fun cleaning up her own vomit inside her house. Delulu 4 Drama says, what a shitty thing to do. Story 2, passive-aggressive table envy. This morning I stopped off at a local park to have a coffee in the autumn sun. The place was quiet and I sat outside on one of the 10 or so picnic tables. The only person outside was me. Lovely. And a little later I'm 75 of the way through my coffee and 2 couples, with 3 kids and a couple of grandparents turn up. They stand around shouting okay, talking very loudly right beside me for a few minutes while one of the elders and one of the men are ordering inside. Then one says, oh, it would be great if we could get these tables together, and from the corner of my eye I see her pointing at the one I'm sat on. This comment, however, is not addressed to me. She hovers about behind me making we can't all sit on one table, we will have to move the table, it's really not very good for us. Comments from a foot or 2 behind me. Not to me. Just near me. Bear in mind there are 89 other empty tables outside, but they are not going to sit at those. So I finish my coffee. And I do not move. Just keep reading Reddit, do a crossword clue or 2, flick through the BBC News page. All the while they are hovering. Eventually their drinks and food starts coming out, and they all squeeze onto a single table with their brunch. They're all tucking into bacon rolls and coffee. And that's when I get up to leave. I take me cup in for the staff, visit the loo, and walk out past them. And sure enough, they are still squashed onto the one table because once they'd started eating it was too much hassle to move. Had they asked, I'd have said no, but I'd have moved as soon as I'd finished, but they didn't. So I enjoyed the sun for another 10 minutes instead. Coder Joe once says, you brought them closer together. That's always a good thing. HMS_SlartyBartFast says, if the need comes up in the future, you can always return the favor. Walk past them talking into your phone. Doesn't have to be on a call, just held to your ear. Speak loudly about how you've had to put up with a group of horrid people who ruined your morning coffee with their inconsiderate and loud conversation. Then explain that, had they been civil and polite, you'd have moved for them. As they could not be decent enough to actually ask, you decided they were not worth listening to. Dave Shop says, on the way out, tell them to turn off their phones or whatever that dumbass commercial is about. Thanks for watching, I love you. Follow Reddit Echoes for more.